Voltron Network.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the DC versus Marvel podcast, where we talk about the latest DC and Marvel movie news. My name is Uz, and I'm your regular DC fanboy. And once again, in the red corner, representing Marvel, is my boy Eds. How you doing, bro?
Woo! I'm great. Doing good.
That's good, man. That's good. So, guys, we had a hiatus the last week. Just mental tiredness, basically. That was all it was. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about there this week. We have some Obi-Wan, we have some Mandalorian, we got Moon Knight first reactions, we got that Miss Marvel trailer, we got the Boys trailer, we got some new Netflix stuff, some independent comic stuff coming up there as well. And do we possibly have the hint as to what James Gunn is going to be doing at HBO Max with the DC, the new DC character. So, before we do that, I want to just give a little plug there again to one of the other shows on the Voltron Network, talking at the movies. You guys need to check that out because they had a review of the Batman the same way that we had a review.
You got exposed for
Batman. and yeah, it's interesting to hear a very different viewpoint on it.
I was dumbfounded. He's talking about my co-host Mo on talking about the movies, guys, and yeah, dumbfounded at his response to Batman. Just did not expect it. He didn't like it, basically. I was in shock. It couldn't even be argued on my part. Like, I couldn't even stick up for the film because I was just like, I was in shock. I was like, okay, okay, move on.
He'll come around. He'll come around. He'll come around. Yeah, 10 years time he'll come around. It's I mean the thing is, I think one thing that I did pick up on in that in that review was that he said that he remembered he might have seen Seven and he didn't like it. So that kind of makes you think, okay, if you don't like that genre of films, you're gonna absolutely hate this.
This is the thing with Mo. First time he sees things, he hates it, and he revisits it in like 5-10 years time, and he's like, "This is amazing! Like, I love it! Like, what's going on?" Like, it's just it's so many times. So it's gonna happen with this again.
I think sometimes, like, when you go to the movies, you're kind of in this different mindset of like you want something spectacular and to be blown away and stuff like that. And then it's a very different mindset to when you're sitting at home watching something. And I think that's probably going to end up happening. Like, he'll be sitting at home watching it and be like, actually, maybe liking it more because he's sitting at home.
That's the thing. The cinema experience he does put you in a different place. Like, I was watching the Adam Project on Netflix, and I was enjoying it. But I know for a fact, if I'd seen it in the cinema, I would have hated it. But at home on the couch, I was like, this is fun. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, that's kind of like it reminded me a lot of those kind of films like Flight of the Navigator.
Exactly,
I was like, this is actually quite entertaining, and like kids will love it because they'll be like, I want to be like that person and blah blah. It's pretty cool, man. So the cinema experience does definitely change a lot of things. I'm gonna go and actually see the Batman again at some point, so I need to in the cinema. So I'm basically gonna go and check it out and see whether my thoughts kind of change about it. But guys, definitely go and check that review out. And also, I will see if I can put into the video there as well. I was talking on the previous podcast about that I was going to write into one of the biggest movie kind of review shows in the UK, which is called Kermode and Mayo, which is on BBC, which is our kind of national broadcaster. Basically because I disagreed with what they were saying about the voiceover and stuff, and they didn't like the voiceover. So they read that out there as well. The guy Mayo, who is basically talking about the voiceover and the fact he didn't like it, was like, now he understands why the voiceover makes a bit more sense, right?
To be fair, Mayo doesn't like anything. He's like the most negative voice on that show. He's constantly like, like, he doesn't need to be there. He should just be come on his own.
And but Mayo, when they're talking about, he fanboyed all over Endgame, like literally, like, you know, when they were talking about Endgame, like literally,
it's a different situation.
like,
of course, it's a Marvel movie.
fanboying all over it, saying like, oh yeah, it's a culmination of all this. I was like, okay, fair enough. So we know where the loyalty's like. One of the funniest things that I heard was on there was he's not like a bat. Like he's the least bat-like person. Why is he called the Batman when he's nothing like a bat? I was thinking, Ross, man, this is amusing. So yeah, like we always say, you got to cater for the lowest common denominator when it comes to films, man. So anyway, let's get into today's show, and we're going to start off with some Star Wars stuff, man. And in this, firstly, that Obi-Wan teaser trailer, which came out last week, but we didn't talk about it. What's your thoughts about the Obi-Wan teaser trailer?
Yeah, it looks solid, well produced, and looks like there's going to be some variety in the locations. But from what I'm reading, it still heavily takes place on Tatooine again. So it's just, I'm getting burnt out on these whole desert locations. I need something more different. I need to get away from Tatooine or any desert planets in Star Wars, because it's really just jarring me.
I mean, this is the thing, like, the kind of the thing about Star Wars and that the desert location is that those people in the desert don't really have much, and they kind of live day to day and all that kind of stuff. But there are going to be other people on other planets, like you know, in the universe, there's planets that are just made out of diamond.
Exactly.
Like, they're not literally, so like for one planet it's going to be like, oh, diamonds is precious resource, and this other one is literally made of diamond. That's the kind of,
and it's annoying, because if there's one character that should have been based on Tatooine, it is Obi-Wan, because he has to watch over Luke. But because of, you know, the amount of time Mandalorian and Boba spent on these desert planets, it's just kind of burnt things out for poor old Obi-Wan, man.
Yeah, exactly. And they should have. The thing is, they're umming and ahhing about this so much. This Obi-Wan thing, like, are we gonna do it? Are we not gonna do it? Are we gonna link it to prequels? Are we gonna do whatever? And it's like they should have just done that and just greenlit it. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like they were like, obviously we never know what happens behind closed doors, but I was kind of thinking, like, when they released the Mandalorian, the reason why they did that is because they weren't 100% sure if they released a Boba Fett thing, how it would go. So they're like, let's do it slightly different but kind of the same, so people will get that kind of feel and then do it. But then they released Boba Fett anyway. And they should have just done Mandalorian and said, sod Boba Fett now, let's go to Obi-Wan and then do it. And then a lot of that kind of, you know, would have made more sense. Yeah, definitely different type of locations that are going on. Interesting to see, like, Dave Filoni loves putting all of his animated stuff just in this, isn't he? So he's like, Inquisitors, in here. You know, I can't remember what there's like. Isn't there like, there's 3 brothers and 2 sisters or something like that? I think there's 5 of them, right? Or there's 3 sisters and 2 brothers. I can't remember, but there's basically like the Inquisitors there. Now we know why Sung Kang was saying that he's got a lightsaber, because he's an Inquisitor basically. And yeah, it looks like they're going to be pursuing Obi-Wan around, but it's kind of like I kind of think, I hate to bring this back to a Batman kind of thing, but it's kind of like you're going to see the echoes of Obi-Wan everywhere, but not. So we're going to see him, but they're going to see like the after effects of like, okay, you know, something's happened here, something's gone well or whatever, but he has to kind of stay in the shadows to make sure that, you know, that, you know, he doesn't get caught or anything like that. It'll be interesting to know, like, you know, his whole mission is to go and look after Luke basically and make sure that he's, you know, living okay and stuff like that. But he just goes on random missions to like Coruscant.
Yeah, there's got to be more, because he does seem to pop up in other places. I'm presuming other planets, unless there's other visually different cities on Tatooine, which could be the case. Yeah, but it has to be more than just watching Luke like a weirdo from the distance.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what they should have done. They should have done it like, oh my god, it's like this perverted guy
It's an old man
after,
binoculars is watching.
And exactly throughout the whole thing. But he's kind of got a so everybody thinks, oh, he's just this dude who just like spies on children, and that's the whole story.
Yeah.
Like he becomes this myth.
And his name sounds it, because don't forget, they all call him Old Ben. That's a creepy name. For that weirdo in the desert.
That would be hilarious, man. So literally they're just like, oh yeah, that guy, like, you know, and he gets hounded. Yeah, basically he gets hounded by the police and the locals everywhere he goes, because it's like, it's that pedo guy. Get him out of this community, like literally every time, man. That would just be hilarious. But yeah, then I don't know. And then we side with Darth Vader, because Darth Vader's hunting this pedo guy.
Yeah.
Like that, the whole universe, right? It's like, well, I'm gonna eliminate this kind of thing. That would be one hell of a turn of events, man, because a lot of people say like the Jedi are kind of like that, they taking kids and all this kind of stuff, and it's like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Darth Vader's like one of those YouTube pedo hunters, basically go around the universe. He goes on the the hollow net and creates a an 8-year-old Jedi, and then like texts Obi-Wan and stuff like that to tell him to come and meet him in this place and stuff. Yeah, that would be something. But yeah, the trailer looks interesting. I got to see Ewan McGregor backed as Obi-Wan. He's got to say hello there at some point. He's got to say it to somebody. And yeah, just the fact that obviously we're gonna get Darth Vader coming back at some point, or are we gonna get Anakin, burnt up Anakin? I don't know. I'd assume Darth Vader, because
I heard that there's actually gonna have Clone War flashbacks, so I think they may try and reenact stuff from the show.
That would, yeah. It could be like a, what's it called, like a Boba Fett style, where literally it's just like every kind of thing that he's doing links back to something else that they did, like back in the days. I hope they revisit the fact that Anakin just murdered all these Tuskens. You know what I mean? It's just like,
oh, you want to go that far back?
Yeah, exactly. Just like all these Tuskens got killed and stuff by Anakin. That would just be kind of crazy. So yeah, I mean, because if Obi-Wan ever gets caught by Tuskens or whatever, and they see the lightsaber, it's going to be like in their mythology that this dude came and did that. So it looks interesting. I'm actually looking forward to that. And I've started now. I've got I put a Fire Stick on the projector in the back room. So now like all like the big kind of shows and movies and stuff we watch on that 120 screen. So and it's got like full surround sound, like the Dolby 5.1 and all that, or 6.1. And it's like that definitely is something to watch on that. So that would be, it'll be interesting to kind of see, man. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. We've also heard some other news that we've got a guy who doesn't seem to age, because I remember him being old in the 80s when I was a kid, watching one of my favorite films, Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd. Right, 80s is like, that's nearly 50 years ago, right? You know what I mean? Like, when you're thinking about it.
Damn. That's scary. Don't
50.
say that.
It's nearly 50 years ago. So, well, I don't know when Back to the Future came out. I'd assume mid-80s.
Yeah.
And when I first probably saw it was like late 80s. And this dude looked old then.
Yeah.
So
it's only 35. Come on, it's not 50. It's too much. Too much of an exaggeration.
No.
Oh, 45.
Well, 80.
No.
Yeah, 45. 45. Yeah, 40.
It's mid-80s.
40.
I'm sticking to 35. It's got,
okay, 35. No. Fair enough. Okay, all right, 35. So yeah, I mean he must be what, 80 now, I guess.
Yeah.
70, late 70s. So but he is apparently going to be in The Mandalorian doing something. I don't know what. But yeah. I just I know that Disney got more brain than this, that they're not actually just going to make it like, oh, he's like one of those that other one who's like, she's like an engineer and kind of built his thing. like that he's something like that.
They won't do.
I just
No,
hope.
they won't
I
do
just hope
that.
they don't do something like he does so many upgrades on the thing there or whatever. Because there's been a lot of kind of little leaks and stuff like that about him going to Mandalore and stuff, so they are definitely filming right now, and he's got to go to Mandalore to go to the cave basically to show like, and the thing is like the kind of leaks have said that the armorer and the other guy who he fought are with him there at the same time as well. And it's like, yeah, it's obvious, because you can't just say, like, he could just be like, yeah, I went to the cave, yeah, and whatever, I'm Mandalorian again now. It's like, so they obviously, exactly, he needs like witnesses of these like two people who are apparently the head of the civilization or whatever. So yeah, Christopher Lloyd in Mandalorian, where would you put him in this thing?
I wouldn't be surprised if he played something sinister, because I've seen Christopher Lloyd play like a bit of a dick, and he does it well. He can actually do that. So I'm guessing it won't be a big role. I think it'll just be like maybe for an episode or two. It'll be.
I remember when Christopher Lloyd started doing more kind of villainous, bit more seriously villainous roles. Like he was in Star Trek, wasn't he? He was like the head Klingon or something. He was like, I think his number, was it 4 or 5? Was it, which one was it? I can't remember, 4 or 5, when he was like the head, like Klingon, basically, like on the bird of prey, just like, shooting people and stuff. So yeah, if he's doing stuff like that, then yeah. But can he move anymore? I don't know.
Not really.
You know what I mean?
Not really. A lot of sitting, I'm guessing.
A lot of sitting, yeah. He's gonna be sitting there chilling, telling a story, man. Or it could just, I don't know. Yeah, it could be anything. So we'll wait to hear more stuff about that. However, one thing that is definitely coming soon, and I apologize to you guys because I gave the wrong date last time, is coming out on March the 30th, and has had first reactions and things coming out, is Moon Knight. So have you seen any of these first reactions?
Little bits, like small short tweets, because the embargo is still up, and yeah, it seems to be, for the most part, really positive. What surprised me is when people are saying that it has adventure elements, like almost the Indiana Jones type vibe of digging around in history and traveling around, globe trotting. That surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. I figured it would just be stuck in one location. But to hear that there's going to be a lot of traveling and a lot of more digging around in history, that excites me, because I love those sort of antiquity hunters.
Yeah. Because he is based on Egyptian mythology or something. It's always like something like that. I saw the newest TV spot or something. It's only like 40 seconds or so, which came out like day before yesterday. And I think they have to add all those elements like that, because I saw that and I was like, okay, from what I've seen from the first reactions, they're saying like, it's very much out there, very which the comic books are like as well, I guess. Very much out there, nothing like what you've seen and stuff there before, because I always try and put myself in the general public's mindset when looking at these things, and to some degree, like the stuff that people watch on the on the TV, they're kind of know a little bit about comics and stuff, but you can't really say that everybody would do that. But when you see him, it's like on that TV spot, it's like he's in the dark, he's throwing that moon shuriken thing around, and there's a bit where he's jumping and his cape billows and he goes down onto the thing. And I'm thinking the average person is going to be like, this is basically Batman, right? So they have to add all that craziness and the the adventure things and stuff, really to differentiate it away from being anything like that. And I think that's probably the best way to go about it if you're going to introduce a character like this. So yeah, I mean, from everything they've seen, I think the first 4 have come, but the last 2 haven't come yet, because all the reactions are on the first 4. And they're saying like, basically they're just mad, basically mad stuff in it. And also one of the good things, well, from my point of view, saying that it's kind of almost standalone. So you don't have to
Yeah.
have knowledge on anything else.
He basically just goes about his business and not really referring back to other Marvel characters, or at least to the point that they don't need to appear on screen. So yeah, this seems to be he's doing his own thing, which I think is good at this point. Maybe a bit of a palate cleanser for Marvel, just to have a hero that does their own things, not really referring back to anything else.
Where's he based, Moon Knight? Is he based in London?
Because that's what it looks like in the trailer, yeah. But like I said,
Yeah.
it looks like they're going to be traveling around quite a bit. So, but yeah, he kind of works at the British Museum with that funky Mary Poppins accent that he's got.
Yeah. The accent, because I was
hoping
thinking,
that doesn't jar me too much.
yeah, exactly. It's a bit. What's that guy's name? Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
He's a bit Dick Van Dyke.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit caricature, man. But the thing is, I think most Americans probably won't notice that as much.
Yeah,
it'll be more like British people be like, what exactly, what is he? But the thing is, like, you could go to like certain parts of Essex, and there are some people who do speak like that kind of thing. The only reason why I was asking about the London thing is because I guess what they're going to end up doing is pretty much have it standalone almost to the end, and I guess some kind of Blade and what's that knight called? I can't remember that Stark is playing.
The Black Knight or something. Oh
something
my god,
like,
I've forgotten his name. But yeah, we know about from we saw a little glimpse of him in Eternals.
Yeah, so I guess that's the link.
I would be surprised if they make if they bring Blade back to being UK. But considering who they've hired, I'm probably guessing they're just going to make him a New York guy again.
Because the locations in that thing were all a little bit weird, right? So they had like, Gemma Chan's character and Starkey as basically pretty much mostly in UK, and then they kind of chipped to some other part which looked like Ireland somewhere, and then afterwards it's like when he goes up on the hill and they see that that she flies up to the Celestial. That was in Greenwich, because I remember that that thing with the observatory on the top, right? So then that means that they're in London, but then you hear the voice of Blade. So I don't know, man. But the Blade's got an American accent.
Yeah,
but he's coming to London for some reason. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Moonlight does something to, I don't know, to release something or something. Something happens. I don't know.
But that's the thing. We don't know whether the voiceover was supposed to be Blade or whether it was just they just got the actor in just to keep him busy because he's kind of sitting around doing nothing from when they announced him like 3-4 years ago, wherever it was. So it's the kind of, maybe they just feel like they got to get him to do some stuff. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Keep the contract going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, he can go off to other, places or whatever, and do things there for them. So, let's go from a Moon Knight and stick with Marvel, and let's talk about the Miss Marvel trailer. I shouldn't laugh. I want to hear your viewpoint on it first, because I want to. I have some thoughts on it, and I had to really had to think a couple of days before making my thoughts on it, because my initial thoughts are very
Did you show it to your
strong. No, and I won't, and I'll tell you why I won't after I hear what you're going to say, because
I thought that would be an important thing to do, because I didn't like the trailer, but then I also remember that it's not for me. This is this is for young girls. They kind of going for that, tweener market, and and I think it probably can strike an audience, man. Considering all the weird things they seem to watch that's on Disney Plus. So
that's true. That is true. It seemed like a Nickelodeon kind of show kind of thing.
They're just indoctrinating that next generation, man. They're just making sure they're doing something for them, so they're going to stick around for another decade or two.
Yeah, and people, you can write in and say, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, whatever. My thought process is a lot stronger about it, and this actually sparked off a lot of conversation between my wife and I when we saw this, and it really was like quite strong conversations about it. And I kind of then decided, right.
Well, before you get into it, he did also strike up a bit of a religious, because there's a lot of Muslim people in the office that I work. And he struck off a very interesting debate between them, saying like, yeah, this is cool, this is fun. Another lot that were very much, no, this doesn't make sense. They wouldn't do this if it was like truly made by, someone who's of the faith. And yeah, it got real passionate.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like when I basically went down a rabbit hole after that of finding out who wrote this, what the background of this person is, what the previous work they've done. And the reason being is that when I went to kind of look at the trailer, the person who wrote a lot of the Miss Marvel comic books was getting congratulations, saying, "Oh yeah, we love the trailer, blah blah blah." And she replied on Twitter to say like, "Oh, I've got nothing to do with the series, right? But I love Kamala, and I'm glad that she's on TV and stuff like that." Did say anything about how she loved the trailer or anything, but my kind of thought process about it is, I don't know firstly whether this trailer was cut badly or whether it was done on purpose, okay? But when I watch something, for example, now you're gonna hate this bit, because I get a bit of reverence for The Rock, right? Because when The Rock talks about his background, okay, and he shows his background in films, it's always done positively. Like he never says Samoans are rubbish, or look at our stories are fantasy and our stories are garbage, and look at it. It's always done with reverence, right? To show like, look how look at our families, look how good our families are together, look at this, look at that, right?
It's interesting you say that, because it's always annoyed me that he only ever really acknowledges the Samoan side of his family, and kind of
and that's what I'm saying. So that is annoying. I mean, if he was pure Samoan, fair enough. He kind of, obviously, ignores the fact that he is African American at the same time. But when it comes to the Samoan part, he does put reverence into it.
Yeah, definitely.
When I find that, okay, and how do I put this delicately? When I find that,
here it is. Come on, lay it down.
Okay, when I find female directors and writers portray their ethnic backgrounds, it's always done with a caveat of like, yeah, we came from this, but there's something not right about it and it needs to be changed, right? So the reason why we thought that is we actually watched this film called Turning Red this weekend, which I'm going to digress a little bit about.
That's the Pixar one, right?
Yeah, the Pixar one, right? And this film, man, I was watching it thinking, if somebody in China was watching this film, I don't know how they could like it. If a Chinese American was watching it, it's a different scenario. So this whole story revolves around the fact that you have this girl who basically is changing, and she has this kind of red panda spirit inside her, right? And her mother says to her, look, this panda spirit is really bad. Don't try and release this panda spirit. It's like basically can wreck stuff. And it was basically designed as like a war creature to basically go and fight these other people, and that's the reason why the spirit was there. Anyway, she decides no, her mother's talking bullshit basically, right? And like she wants to show this panda spirit as being cool. She releases it in school all the time, makes loads of money, and the whole reason why she wants to basically release this panda spirit is so that she can make money off it, so that she can go to this concert.
Don't tell me too much, but yeah, go on.
I won't tell you the whole thing, but basically, to go to this concert. Anyway, the whole point of this story is basically the defiance of parents. And eventually what happens is, with your don't worry, you can defy your parents will come round at some point. That's the moral of the story of that. Now, if I'm a Chinese person in China, I don't know whether I'd actually like that. Whereas a Chinese person in a second, third generation Chinese girl in America will probably think that's the greatest thing ever.
I guess you can put culture on it, but but you can also read it as just a generational thing. Just the younger generation always rebels against the older. They always kind of want to do things a different way, whether they're in the country or, immigrants. It's just always every generation from whatever culture always want to do that. So you can interpret it that way, but you're not really wrong either.
Yeah. So when I'm watching, so like I said about Miss Marvel, I don't know whether it's cut badly or whether it's just done on purpose. But I watched this trailer 4 times to watch this one bit. And there is this bit where she goes, some people say I always live in a fantasy land. And she's sitting there praying in the mosque while this voiceover comes over. Okay. Now, okay, you could say, oh, yeah, you're an idiot, blah, blah, you need to let your kids do whatever. Do I want my kids watching something where we're practicing Muslims saying, oh, I live in a fantasy land? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's cut badly and the voiceover is wrong, but it kind of makes me think. This is why I went down the rabbit hole, because I went to go and find out who wrote this story, because the person who wrote it initially is both of the women who have written all the Miss Marvel comic books.
Well, if this is something from the trailer, isn't this more of an issue of whether whoever they got to edit that trailer,
that's what I'm saying,
they put their own beliefs or politics in this while they were doing it, and it's not really something that Marvel or Disney
that's what I've given the benefit of the doubt to, but also at the same time, that's why I went down the rabbit hole to see who wrote this. And basically the people who have written Miss Marvel from the start have always kind of tried to revere the culture, right? Because they're practicing, and it's kind of like they're trying to show like, okay, you can have a balance between this and that and blah, blah. The person who has written this one is a British comedian who all of her act, and I've seen a lot of her act now on YouTube, all of her act is, oh yeah, my dad told me to do this. Oh, this, yeah, I have to go to the mosque and like, I hate it. And like, yeah, it's all like taking the piss out of it. And I just was like, okay, fine. Why would you push out the people who have written the comic books? I mean, a lot of the time they don't get the people who write the comic books in, but replace them with somebody who puts reverence there, with somebody who their entire act is rebelling against that. And then it kind of confirms in my mind that trailer was cut in the way that they wanted it to be cut. And that then puts me off. That then makes me think, okay, fine, you're targeting, like you're saying, what's the target audience? So the target audience is meant to be young Asian girls, right? Yeah, and by Asian we mean South Asian. But how many parents are going to look at this and be like, I don't know if I want my kid watching that. I think there'll be a lot, because once it's like she's like, oh, I spent too much time in a fantasy land, right? It's like you're praying, okay, yeah, at the same time you go to a pool party with you go to a pool party with like half naked dude there and stuff, and it's like, oh, okay. I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. I know I might come across as like, okay, this guy is.
It's interesting. What you're pointing out aren't things that any of the Muslims in my office picked up on. There's other things that they're arguing, but yeah, that's it's interesting perspective. I'm kind of curious to kind of, when this does drop, to kind of read the response.
Yeah, it's interesting because I went and looked at quite a few like Muslim YouTubers and stuff like that who do review these kind of things. They have like a balanced viewpoint on stuff, and there's been no reviews of this trailer. Like literally nobody's review. It's like, so the only people who are gonna who for my mind are gonna see this and like this are what I call people with the savior complex. So people who are like, oh yeah, these girls who like wear headscarf and they have to go to mosque and stuff, they need saving by us, and like I think people like that are gonna love this. But yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna give it the benefit of doubt and say, okay, maybe it was cut wrong, but it puts me off like completely.
The directors, is it the same writer throughout the whole who did the whole thing, or is it?
So it's the same writer in the whole thing. The thing is, the director is Adil Al-Arbi, who is the um, guy who directed Bad Boys and is also directing Batgirl, right? And that makes me think, okay, he's an Arab guy. Would they do it in this way? But I don't know. I honestly don't know. So I will, I will basically have a look, and I don't know. I also feel weird, like thinking this is completely separate to that, but I also feel weird that I, as a grown man, actually going and watching that program.
You gave
because it's
Stargirl
really
this is in that wheelhouse.
yeah, yeah, that was only because JSA were on it, and I was thinking, maybe we're gonna see JSA, and then I gave up after like one episode. It's like it's like my dad will basically watch anything, right? Literally, he'll watch like any program, and on there they were here over the Christmas period and stuff, and he was like scrolling through, and we're like, "Oh, Dad, do you want to watch anything?" Blah blah blah. He's like, "Yeah, I want to watch Stargirl and stuff." Yeah, and we're just looking at my dad like, "No, Dad, you're not watching Stargirl." You know what I mean? So yeah, it's I don't know. For me, that's a 0 out of 10 for that trailer, to be honest. But yeah, let's see what happens. I think you'll probably have to watch a couple and then tell me whether it's.
You gotta watch it at least the first. We gotta get that perspective for you, man.
Okay, I'll watch the first one and then see whether it's actually worth watching any of the others.
One other point: a lot of people are complaining about how they've changed her powers, but I'm glad they did, because I hated. One thing that never really drew me to the comic book is that whole stretchy, putty skin thing where it's, enlarging her fist and all of that. I just never liked it. I don't really like stretchy powers anyway. So I'm glad they kind of augmented that to be, discharge.
Yeah, Green Lantern kind of thing.
Yeah, some people hate it, but I'm fine with it. Visually, it's a lot better.
Yeah. I have no viewpoint on it, so I'm not going to say anything. Let's go to some independent comic book stuff there now. And The Boys trailer 3. Doesn't it seem like 100 years since The Boys?
It's so crazy. It's the problem because they do come out and then it's not long season, so yeah, you are kind of done with it way too quick.
Yeah, I can't remember. Does The Boys come out every week? It comes out every week, isn't it? It's not
I think they put out the first 2 or 3 first, and then then weekly they do it.
So The Boys season 3. Obviously, this is kind of like a teaser trailer, and this is the season where I was like, okay, I don't know what they're gonna do here, because they're gonna have to make a significant deviation from the comic books in this season. So it looks like they put some elements of the stuff there in there, but also at the same time, really kind of gone away from it. But that kind of cringe kind of stuff is still in there, which is hilarious. My 2 favorite characters in this, I don't know, apart from the superheroes, I guess I don't really have any opinion on, but my 2 favorite characters are Frenchie and the girl, right? Because those 2 are like absolutely crazy, but and in the comic books they have like a funny relationship there as well. But yeah, I want to see more and more of them kind of doing their own thing.
I want them to hook up as well. Finally, I'm never usually the guy to watch the show and be like, "Come on, you 2, get it together." But yeah, hopefully they'll get it together this season.
Yeah, so we see what looks like Butcher maybe getting some kind of power, like he seems to be
some compound V must have taken it.
Compound V going on, and then we see wasn't A-Train kind of became like an addict, didn't he? Like and he was kind of losing his powers a bit and then getting some back, and we see obviously him appearing in there, the Deep there as well, man. The Deep, his tragic story, kind of like this
I love what they did with the Deep. I hope they continue that sort of semi-redemption story with him. They don't just take him right back to just being a complete pathetic dick.
I know it's basically like. In fact, I actually like what they did with the thing there, where they kind of changed it, where it was like the deep kind of comes on to Starlight or whatever.
Yeah.
But in the comic books, it was Homelander and pretty much all of
Yeah.
them. Make her do stuff. But in this, it means that you can make Homelander like this weird mummy's boy kind of character, which is just like, he's so wrong, man. It's kind of like when Peacemaker was saying like Superman has this fetish or whatever and stuff like that. It's like you don't know what people do behind closed doors, right? So it's like Homelander appears as this like larger than life like superhero, but behind closed doors, man, he's like
human
just
breast milk and all that. Oh,
exactly. And he's milking the cow and like basically getting like some like orgasmic face and stuff like that. It's just wrong, man. So wrong. I wonder. I hope that we get to a stage where Mother's Milk, we actually find out, because in the comic book you find out the reason why he's so kind of he's got strength. He's got like a lot more strength than the other lot, and why he's got why he's called Mother's Milk, which in the comic books is so wrong. But I just hope they show something like that, because it's going to be one that every series there's one moment where people look at and they're like, oh my god, what the hell was that? So I'm hoping in this one it has that moment, is going to be something like that.
The boys popped up on Audible the other day, the graphic audio version, so I might have to check that one out. I'm not sure how far deep into the story it goes, but their interpretation, because it's complete.
Which one?
Graphic audio. It's like another audio company that do like a movie, but they've got their stuff on Audible now. So yeah, the boys is on there.
Okay. What, the comic book versions?
Yeah, taken directly from the comic book.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because the comic book's actually like, a lot of the time I kind of think, okay, if you do that, you're going to get a lot of spoilers for the thing. But this is deviated so much. Yeah. I don't think it's going to matter that much, man.
You think of Soldier Boy, the little glimpse we got?
I think Soldier Boy is interesting. I've got to see where they go with him, because that guy, man, had some messed up story as well. But it's like, I don't know. What they've done so far is they've had like, the Superman trope, and the Superman just, messed up Superman, drugged up Flash, Aquaman just being Aquaman, basically, like people taking the piss out of Aquaman, and now they've got Captain America, which I don't know how they're going to flip the script on, because I'll be very surprised if they go the comic book route, to be honest. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what, where they go with this character. But I think Jensen Ackles is one of these guys who people love him in Supernatural, but it's kind of like the amount of people that like him is not the amount that he could have got with a wider audience. Yeah, doing other stuff.
He's tailor-made to be a superhero. He's just that guy who should be in these sort of things.
Yeah, he should be.
He's got the personality for it. He just stuck around in Supernatural for too long. Should have dropped out after season 5 and then focused on films, because kind of burnt those years.
The first time I came across Jensen Ackles was basically, I never saw Supernatural or anything like that, but in my hometown, every year up until 2017 or so, in the main shopping center, they used to have it was like a Showmasters event where they'd have all these like different stars of different shows and stuff, and they would come, and people could pay for autographs, and there'll be all the merchandise and all that kind of stuff. So one time, I just went with my mum up to town, basically, and we couldn't park anywhere. Like literally, there's no park. Usually you can park anywhere, right? No parking anywhere. Eventually got parking, right? Tried to go into one entrance, nah, it's closed. Tried to go into a side entrance, nah, it's closed, right? Eventually we get to the third entrance, and there is this queue, right? I'm not joking, this queue must be 50 to 100 meters long, right? And I'm like, what on earth is going on here, right? And then we basically like, my mom goes and asks one of the people in the queue, like, oh, what's the queue for? And they're like, oh, it's a guy called Jensen Ackles to get his autograph, right? And I guess there are people coming from all over,
Oh, it was a big show.
everywhere.
It was definitely a
to
big
get
show.
this guy's like, so with his fans from that show, he is super, super, super popular. But I think this is gonna really show like why he should have been in all these kind of things. Him and what's that other guy? Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
Those two guys are like cult favorites, but I think they kind of missed out on being bigger as it kind of were, man. So when is The Boys is coming out in June, I think, isn't it? I think it was June or July, man. So it's gonna be mad packed, man, because you basically got Obi-Wan and then Obi-Wan, then Doctor Strange, and then this thing. So it's gonna be a cool summer, man, of stuff. We keep with the evil Superman mission.
Yes.
And Netflix with their Irredeemable and Incorruptible series that they're going to be producing. And we actually talked about this, I don't know, 9 months ago, I think, or something, when it was like a rumor or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're like, whether they're going to do it or whatever. This is like.
At first, I was excited, but then with Netflix, with Netflix, you just don't know what you're going to get. It could either be, really good, like, first season of Witcher or something, or it could just be meh, just meh, like whatever the other last superhero thing they did, which I've already forgotten the name of it. Can't even remember the name of it. The one that got cancelled.
Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah.
With Netflix, I always find that what they do is they seem to have a decent kind of start, and then the middle gets like crazy, and then it's like they don't know how to end it. And it's usually ends on something ridiculous, like, just really dumb and kind of rubbish, which is why I kind of, so many people are like really waiting for Umbrella Academy season 3, right? And I'm just like, okay, yeah, well, we had 1, which is okay, 2, which is way, way better. It's like 3 is going to follow the Netflix trope and be like downhill, you know what I mean? So, this basically this follows another one of those evil Superman kind of ideas, like
doesn't start out that way.
Homelander.
He is just a good, superhero protecting everybody, but he just gets just pissed off with it all. He's just like, doesn't feel appreciated. People take it for granted, and he just kind of turns and begins to kill everybody.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
and then his biggest enemy becomes the hero, basically, because it's like, he's fighting against this incredibly powerful character. So I don't know. If you said this to me 5 years ago, then I'd say yes, but I would rather watch another 5 series of Invincible than have this on, because I've seen where the Invincible comics go.
I was going to say, because we've seen this as well now, because of Homelander, because of even little bits of what Zack Snyder was doing, and even with Invincible, with the dad, like, we've kind of seen this. 6 years ago, it would have been a brand new sort of concept and been amazing for live action. But now, seen a bunch of it now, so they're a bit late. So who knows if it'd be any good.
Does it? I was thinking, like, it kind of makes Superman and Lois, what they have achieved, seem way better than what they actually have achieved, because it seems like nobody can do a decent heroic Superman, right? It's like, it's much easier to do an evil Superman. So if you actually have a proper heroic Superman, you pull it off, you're like genius level, man. So it's like Superman Lois, like, it doesn't seem, on paper, like it's that hard, but obviously they have achieved a lot by getting that kind of thing going. So should we put that on a maybe until a trailer kind of comes there, basically. Did Jupiter Ascending, did that actually did they decide that they're actually going to do anything with that or not?
Oh, they cancelled it.
I don't know. Oh, they cancelled it, yeah. So
Completely
it's just
cancelled it.
like, that's the thing, man. It's like you could get excited about this, and they say, "Oh yeah, we're doing Irredeemable and Incorruptible." And it's like, are you sure you're just gonna do
Yeah.
Irredeemable first, and then see
Netflix
how it
have a
goes?
reputation for just giving up on things before they really kind of give it a chance. Because yeah,
Yeah,
2% it wasn't. I'm not gonna say it was a complete travesty. It wasn't great, but I did watch it to the end, and I was like, I'm kind of curious to see where this goes. But okay, yeah, done, dead. So it's pointless.
yeah. So let's there was some other news that I'm going to put in at the end, which is the Daredevil stuff, because I forgot to put in this list basically. But let's talk about our favorite villain, right, who basically has been mentioned so many times in Peacemaker and also in Harley Quinn there as well. Seems like he's actually going to get a series now, and that is Kite Man. Right, so Kite Man actually looks like he's going to receive a series on HBO Max, a live action Kite Man
Really?
series,
I heard that
right?
he was going to be part of the Harley Quinn spin-off show, but I didn't know he was going to get his own show.
Yeah, so he's getting his own show basically called Kite Man, which I was just thinking, is this now going to be what
It's got to be James
what
Gunn.
James Gunn is doing? Because
Gotta be.
I would love to see a show
Has to
of
be.
like some of the most ridiculous people, like Condiment King, and like like yeah, like just random people like that, and just put them all in this this thing of this, like,
Who's the one that Nicolas Cage said he wants to do? The Batman villain, Egghead or something?
Yeah, just keep like the most weirdest, most bizarre characters in there. They could literally make a show of kind of like, right, okay, we need to make some money, and we need some kind of gimmick because everybody's got a gimmick, and it's like all the good gimmicks are gone. So now you got to be like, Kite Man, and all this kind of stuff, man. So yeah, the reason why I'm saying Condiment King there as well is because Ron Pattinson was asked, like, what is your favorite villain, and he's like, oh, Condiment King is my favorite villain. And I'm just thinking, yeah, man, you gotta you got sometimes kind of read between the lines sometimes in these things. Like, maybe they know something that the Condiment King is going to come out, man, because he could, he could, like, fill a bottle of mustard with some really horrible stuff and just squirt at people, man. But yeah,
Those are the
Kite Man.
villains that usually open the movies, the ones that they take down right at the beginning, sort of action sequence. So hopefully they'll do that for a next Batman film.
I think is James Gunn does not care, man, because he's like, there was some like villains that he was like, there's what was that villain? I can't remember what her name is now. She's like orange with the purple armor.
Yeah.
She's fought Superman before and given him a run for his money. She just got annihilated by like a helicopter, just like dead, man, just completely dead. You know what I mean? I'm kind of half happy about the Kite Man thing, but I'm still just putting my little pin on that Ratcatcher and Weasel, because I still want Weasel as a main character, man.
Tweet James Gunn and tell him we want the Ratcatcher and Weasel live action show. Come on.
Exactly. Make it a hashtag Ratcatcher and Weasel, because that would just be an unbelievable show, man. So while they seem to be like green lighting, films like that, at the same time, shows like that, we seem to be getting at the same time like every DC film known to man gets delayed, right? So we now have Black Adam is going to October. We have Flash and Aquaman are going to 2023 now. Just everything getting kind of delayed.
I'm only really
much.
Annoyed by the Flash one, because I'm just curious to know what the hell that's going to be. So it's annoying. I'm gonna have to wait another year.
Yeah, I mean, the Flash apparently has got tons and tons and tons of CGI in it, which they are saying that they would have struggled to get done, by the time they need to get it done, which is fair enough. Aquaman, the reason why Aquaman's moved, right? Because the juggernaut that is Avatar 2 was coming out on the same day, and that's why they're like, no, we can't compete against Avatar 2. So they obviously moved that there as well, and Black Adam moving to that October slot, which is weird because October is the kind of time when you get all these Harry Pottery films coming out, because they're going to be slightly spooky or kind of Halloweeny kind of thing.
When is that next Fantastic Beast? That's actually in the summer, I think. So
yeah, so they're going to put that as their summer blockbuster kind of thing, and then go from there. But it's just like I don't know. I think maybe are people running scared of the of the Doctor Strange thing, because that's obviously going to be the biggest summer movie, as it were. So
that's been chatting shit. It's gonna be as big as Spider-Man. I think it's gonna be big. I don't think it's gonna be on that Spider-Man level. Come on now.
No, because that brought a lot of people who weren't really that involved in stuff, just to say like, oh, there's gonna be 3 Spider-Man in it, and there's rumors about it from ages. Just going to see it.
Even just casual. So, Spider-Man just has a way of just appealing to just regular people that no other superhero, maybe besides Batman, does. Just a phenomenon.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I know Doctor Strange is going to have a lot of kind of cameos, and people are going to be talking about it and stuff. But yeah, I can't see it going the same way as that. But it doesn't really have any real competition anyway coming around that time there. So the films that are meant to be coming out, haven't even seen like second trailers for or anything like that, like Top Gun, and all the Mission Impossible stuff has been moved back. So that's not coming until like next year. So once you've got that, it's like, well, yeah, it could just run and run and run pretty much, you know what I mean?
So cinema's still not recovered, man. We're still not really getting that month after month after month, big movie after big movie. It's kind of just once in a while. Most of the stuff's on TV.
That is true. And then some of the stuff that is actually in the cinema is like not even worth kind of watching, man. It's like you kind of look at it and you think, okay, Death on the Nile, do I really want to go and see that in the cinema? That's the kind of thing that was on bank holidays in the UK like literally every year when I was a kid. So yeah, I don't know. Jared Leto did say that, like, Marvel movies pretty much have saved the cinema, because otherwise there wouldn't be anybody going.
Yeah, Scorsese save cinema.
Exactly. Which is so, yeah, exactly. And luckily, Jared Leto didn't say that his performances have saved cinema, because yeah, frankly, that dude, man, that dude, it is like, I'm just thinking about his last 5 or 6 performances have all been quite ropey. So I don't know, man. We'll see what is. You'll see what kind of happens there. So let's go on to our final news there of the day, and the final news of Daredevil, which universally, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about that Daredevil series, like, ever. All the other ones to some degree, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, definitely, Jessica Jones, and even the Punisher, like, Punisher, season 1, I thought was really good, and season 2 was decent in some areas, and other areas not so great. But I think Daredevil, especially season 1 and 3, universal praise kind of for.
The most consistent out of all of those Defender shows.
But then the idea is apparently they're going to reboot that. So yeah, how are they going to reboot it? It's going to have to be a soft reboot if you've already got Charlie Cox in Spider-Man and met Tom Holland already.
I'm presuming it's just going to hit the ground running. He's already Daredevil. but he's in a whole different sort of like we were texting back and forth about, probably a different office, different group of friends around him, which annoys me because I like that card, the little Foggy and what was the blonde chick, the one from True Blood. She was really good. I
Oh,
think she was really the
yeah.
heart of all of those, that and Daredevil. So it's gonna be a shame if she doesn't come back. And she says she hasn't heard nothing. No one's got in contact with her yet. So that'd be a
Well,
bummer.
didn't she say that she has struggled to get any roles
Yeah.
after that Daredevil thing, man? So she actually put a thing out saying like, I'd love to come back. And Daredevil was like, yeah, because nobody's calling you for these other
It's
things,
true,
man,
man.
which is really
She's a
sad.
good actress, though. It
So
don't make sense. Really don't make no
exactly,
sense.
exactly, man. So it's kind of like, it would be interesting to kind of get them back in. Maybe it's like a Daredevil, like further down the line kind of Daredevil. So it's like, the grittiness is kind of gone, and it's kind of like
Yeah.
some kind of, showboating in terms of the way that you fight the criminals and stuff like that
Possibly,
there,
yeah.
rather than like, having to, do the hallway fights and stuff like that. Although,
But that's been what people
uh,
loved, the grittiness of the combat and all of that stuff.
yeah,
So
although from what I've heard about Moon Knight, I think Moon Knight is going to be a test bed for this, because from what people have been tweeting, the first kind of things is like they're saying Moon Knight is surprisingly brutal in his execution of the fights, right? So I'm wondering whether that's going to be a test bed to kind of say like, okay, we can get away with this on Disney, right, to this level, and then fine, we'll bring Daredevil to this level and not really much more than that, and then go from there. The way that they kind of do it is basically like, Marvel always do it in this way where you show fighting and you show people hitting each other and stuff like that, and then after they've finished hitting each other, you see somebody with like blood on their face or on their nose or whatever. You don't see somebody getting punched and then blood just flying all over the place and stuff.
which I think they're gonna go with is the way that, because Moon Knight has this sort of crescent blade things. I think he's going to throw them. We're going to see them flying through the air. We're going to see them go towards people's throats, cut away, and then we'll see them collapse, but you won't see the blood. So I think it'll
Okay.
probably be stuff like that.
Yeah, which would kind of be interesting. But the thing with Daredevil is it's all about like
Crunch,
the fights
bones
and just like
snapping.
yeah, and just the fact that when he was there doing the hallway fight, it's like he wasn't just battering people. There were certain parts where he was getting hit, and it was like, oh damn, he's hit now. They're gonna pile on him, but he found a way out. The choreography on that was just incredible, and I just hope that they get either whoever's done that or like the Hong Kong level choreography is what you kind of need for something like that there, basically, because he's doing that kind of thing. But I don't know if it's interesting, because when we were kids, they had turtles in the UK, and they took the nunchucks out from Michelangelo because it was like kids are going to copy like the nunchucks and stuff. And it's like we've got to a stage now where potentially we've got a Daredevil who's going to come on TV with like billy clubs, like live action, and he's going to be beating people. And it's like we weren't even trusted to see a nunchuck on TV, because we probably, I mean, to be fair, we probably would have bought nunchucks. And
I've got some.
You got some. Okay. Exactly. So yeah, that would be interesting to see.
Like I was telling you before, I reckon they're going to redo the whole Elektra thing as well, because they never really did that comic book accurate Elektra story. Probably bring in Bullseye as well. Yeah, there. A lot of changes.
That Bullseye was awesome though, man. I loved that whole Bullseye storyline, and I thought that was so cool, man. And I think they did him a bit wrong at the end, because I think he was really flipping good. But they're gonna concentrate more on the Kingpin kind of angle, I think. And just get it kind of more like that. So
the only one I'm happy that they may, if they ever get around coming back to that character, is the Iron Fist. Start again, scratch that one didn't exist, just do it all again from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like that guy couldn't even be bothered, like to learn. Like he literally could not be bothered to learn how to do, how to train. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's just
It's what you
absolutely
do for a
ridiculous.
living. You have this big break, what people kill for, and you just couldn't be asked.
Yeah. Exactly, man. So, yeah. I need, and we haven't seen him anywhere after that anyway. So
Wonder why.
he's kind of disappeared. He's disappeared from the whole thing, man. So, yeah, guys, are you interested in Daredevil? Because yeah, I definitely would love to see it when it comes out there again, but just hope they don't kind of sanitize it too much, man.
The
So,
costume gonna be like as well. You know it's gonna be a new
yeah,
costume.
yeah, as long as it's not too CWE, then that's fine. I mean, that's the way of going about it. So, guys, I know there was some news there this morning about Gotham Knights and some people getting, um, some people
Yeah,
getting
we've not
like,
spoke about that.
some people getting recruited to, be part of the team and stuff. But it's like, I know that's a CW show, man. So am I really gonna be interested in that?
Yeah.
I like the idea of, Duella Dent, the Joker's daughter, and bloody okay, yeah, I like them kind of thing. But
CW though.
yeah, CW, man, it's gonna be horrendous. Like, it's gonna be like Batwoman level. So it's
Oh,
gonna
God.
suck, man. It's gonna suck. Like, okay, yeah, fine. You look at it on the stage, he's like, oh yeah, Stephanie Brown is, Robin is going to be in it, and they're going to have spoiler in it. And okay, that's quite cool because it's Bat Universe, and I'm interested in that. But then at the same time, it's like this is on the CW, so it's going to be pretty flipping horrendous. So yeah, I don't know. We'll leave that alone there for the moment until I see a trailer, and then we'll talk about it on the trailer. I also want to say as well, guys. Rob, I know you messaged saying to talk about Picard, saying like, oh, you guys should talk about Picard because there are graphic novels of, and it is comic booky, but I don't know. To me,
There are a
Star
lot
Trek
of
came
Star Trek.
before.
But there are a lot of Star Trek comics over the years, man.
There are a lot,
Crossed
but
over
didn't
with a lot
Star
of
Trek come
heroes.
before the comics?
It
It's kind
did,
of
but
like,
so did Aliens and stuff like that. We still mention all that stuff. So did Star Wars.
that's true. That's true. I don't know. So yeah. Should we do a Picard review? Quick one? I don't know.
We can do a quick one. We
Just do
can.
it anyway.
We're
We'll
liking.
just do a
I'm
quick
liking
one.
it. I'm loving it so far. This new season, way better than the first season. Didn't
Yeah.
like the first season that much. It was alright, but this one way more stakes. Yeah,
And it seems like proper Star Trek as well, like proper Star Trek. Q messing around. Just like, I always liked that one. There was that episode in Star Trek where basically the Enterprise C came through this like wormhole thing, and it turned all of the Star Trek stuff into like warships and stuff like that. I always thought that was interesting, and they've kind of created this kind of Terran style world where the basically the humans are suppressing every alien basically known to man. So and it's all Q's doing for some reason. The only issue that I have is I literally am just like every time Patrick Stewart he gets up or he walks, and I'm just like, don't trip on that. Don't just walk around this bit. Don't, you're gonna break your knee or you're gonna hurt yourself.
Now, which worries me when I watch it. That's the thing that worries me when I see it. Like I think, oh, this national treasure. And you can see it, you can hear it when he talks.
Yeah,
but they've already shot season 3 as well, so
because
they know that who knows how long we've got with him, man. So got to treasure this. But so far, loving it. This is movie quality, man. This show is like this is how you do a show and put the money on the screen, man.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed with it. I'm actually quite impressed with the way it was. Seeing it on the big screen, it really comes off well. So yeah, definitely recommended. That is, if you want a proper in-depth review, then go check out Talking to Movies because they're going to talk about it deep, man. Because it's one of those things where it's like, some people they know like, oh, this was in this episode here and this is in that, and Mo knows that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him to do a Star Trek podcast, man, but he basically does one. He records with a bunch of people every week. He just hangs out and on Zoom with a bunch of people from around the world. I'm saying, record it, just put it up.
Record it and put it out as a podcast. Yeah,
like,
loads of people will listen to it anyway. No, it just just doesn't want it. That's the thing. So yeah, that's cool, man. Guys, check that mission out. Once again, if you have any comments about any of the stories there, you can email us on dcvsmarvelpod@gmail.com. Also go to the Facebook page, DCVS Marvel Podcast. A lot of interesting activity going on there with the Flash memes and stuff like that, which is quite funny. So yeah, definitely check that out there as well. And we talked about talking to movies, but yeah, Ed's other podcast there.
Go check it out. Talking at the Movies on all podcasting platforms, and Voltron Network on YouTube for the video version of this, and occasionally.
Yes, and I will keep sharing them because it seems like people are starting to move on to there as well. So it's my fault for not actually sharing them and putting them, on there. So when we do, maybe we'll get a few more people kind of watching them and stuff. So check all those out, guys, and we'll see you again next time.
Later.